We're finally here, recording this cast on this episode. We'll have a blast. The N-Focus crew is ready to go, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to N-Focus, coming to you this week from the planet's core. I am your host and rap master Hilka. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Rosalie. How are you doing today?
Hello. I am much better after hearing your rapping skills, I have to say.
Oh yeah, I'm a natural for sure. Yeah.
That's better than anything I can do. I wouldn't put anyone through the torture of hearing me try to rap.
I mean, between the two of us, you are the actual musician. So I assume you at least have more skills.
Yeah. I can't think of an occasion where I had like a rap exam though. We did study different genres. Like we had like a heavy metal week, and that was terrifying. Not because I don't like it, but because it's not really something that I would normally sing. I can't think if we did. That's pretty bad if we didn't do hip hop and stuff. But I guess it's pretty, unless somebody is good at synths and sampling stuff, then you can't really do it. Oh, but no, I think you did very, very well. Maybe someone can do like a remix of it.
And I do want to say to those of you who it is not already obvious to you, of course, credit for the original DK rap goes to Grant Kirkhope, Nintendo.
Yes. Side eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Scottish legend himself, who actually helped me with my third year music degree. So
nice.
Yeah, he's a good chap. He's a goodine.
Yeah, we don't really have much of a story about it, but like, of course, the Donkey Kong Bonanza trailer and direct happened. Not trailer, just direct. I suppose there was a trailer in the direct. Anyway, and like there was like a modified version of the DK rap, and that was apparently a surprise to Grant Kirkhope. Like, obviously they own the copyright for it and the trademark and basically everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have just sent him an email like, hey, we're going to include it in a trailer. Would be something fun to show your kids, Like,
yeah.
And credit him at all, please. They didn't do it for the Super Mario Brothers movie either.
Or the music app as well. All the composers are still uncredited there too. It's very weird.
And we have more on that later in the episode. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody that we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/gamepodular. If you want to send us a couple of bucks to help pay for hosting costs, keep the proverbial lights on, that would be very cool if you did that. You don't have to, obviously, like, times are tough, and they keep getting tougher even in the last couple of weeks. So, take care of yourselves, but if you've got some cash lying around and you want to send it our way, we would very much appreciate it.
Yes, please.
Also, we have two YouTube channels now. YouTube.com/@GamePodular. That's where you'll find the YouTube versions of the podcasts. And YouTube.com/@GamePodular streams highlights, which is where you'll find our stream VODs. There are 3 of them on there so far. And there will be another one joining them later this month. I suppose that doesn't really narrow it down, considering we are currently recording this on the 1st of the month. So check out that and if you missed the Twitch video, it'll be on the VOD channel probably on the same day or the next day, depending on when I can get it sorted. Mm-hmm. And now, on to the news. Our first news story. Hey, it's been a couple weeks since we did this. New games on NSO. Well, game on NSO. And it is the first new GameCube game that has been added to the service since it was started with GameCube games. We're going to get Super Mario Strikers, aka Mario Smash Football if you're in Europe or Australia. And it's coming July 3rd, so right after this episode comes out.
Yay.
Have you played this one at all? I know the answer to this, but you know, for the sake of TV.
Yeah, yeah, I did back in the day. It was one of the ones my friend owned, and I didn't. So I don't remember much of it. And I also I'm like the most generic nerd ever. And even if it's Mario coded, I still very much hate football. But I'm gonna try and get over that on July 3rd. I was hoping they were gonna add like Double Dash, but I understand there's not really like that'd be silly because then people would play that and not World.
Yeah, like I imagine it'll come somewhere down the line, but World just came out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of like other things I hope might pop up in there. If they get Eternal Darkness,
Oh,
that'd be good. I still love my copy, but it'd be good.
I'm holding out hope. I mean, they confirmed that it's coming, just not when. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Really want to play that.
Yeah, because I only have the first one. I don't think I ever played this sequel. And it's very expensive to buy, was then, and is worse now.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll drive its secondhand prices down a little bit.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the exact same boat as you. As longer time listeners of the podcast will know, I never owned a GameCube, but I had a friend who did, so I played it at his house a couple times. I remember enjoying it, but that was also... Oh boy. No, like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I was going to say 15, and then I realized, oh no, that's not correct anymore.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I've started to feel ancient. Worse, more so than usual. And when you look at game anniversaries, it's like, just makes it worse.
Boy, those numbers do keep going up, huh?
It's like, I'm never turning 40. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to be 30.
You're just going to be 39 for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a fun one. In the Oxford Circus metro station in London, an ad for Metroid Prime 4 showed up with an out now mark on it. Mm-hmm. That's obviously not correct, but there was like some consternation about it, especially online, because Metroid Prime Remastered was like a surprise release in the February 9th, 2023 Nintendo Direct. So people were like, ooh, did they shadow drop Metroid Prime 4? No, of course they didn't. But I can see where the logic was at the very least. They did obviously later confirm that it was a mistake and it has since been rectified. It's been either replaced or like altered with just like probably a sticker to say 2025. But like it was very funny on like Blue Sky seeing pictures pop up of people traveling specifically to that tube station to say it the most correct, and posing next to it like, what a surprise. News to me.
I do worry if someone got in a lot of trouble for putting that up, but although like whenever you put up advertising, like I used to have to put up movie posters, and there was like a very strict thing of like what could go up, and everything was like always owned by the film studios, even though it's not. It's like a poster that's now in the cinema. It was very weird. So it's probably similar. So technically it would be whoever forgot to not, be like, nope, this shouldn't go out. Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
in whoever that person was as defense, I did see, like I said, I saw the pictures, and the out now is not like that big on the poster.
That's true.
So it's easy. I would hazard a guess to say that this was just an honest mistake. And also, I also wouldn't be surprised if these posters are like rolled up before they're like hung up in tube
Yeah.
stations, so they probably just grabbed one from the Metroid Prime 4 pile
Yep. Yep.
and maybe didn't even see it until they'd already like applied the glue and stuff, and at that point it was kind of too late.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's like, oh, I was gonna make a Simpsons reference, and then I realized that you wouldn't get it again. It's fine. It's fine. I'll keep it to myself. It's fine. But no, yeah, you're probably right. There's probably just like a big. It's quite funny because when I did the movie posters thing, I'd go in the cupboard and there'd just be like a ton of boxes that all had like, well, this is how I'm dating myself, but it was like World of Warcraft posters and just like 3 boxes worth, and I'm like, oh no.
Boy, you get to help advertise an otherwise great movie.
Do you know I still have like 6 of them and I don't know what to do? I thought I gave them out to people I knew, and I'm like, what am I going to do with 6 World of Warcraft movie posters? Oh dear.
There's probably some collector out there who'd want at least one of them.
That's true. Maybe. But, you know, it's no...
Did you see Warcraft at all?
Yeah, I
movie?
saw it in the cinema and I fell
Same.
asleep.
Not same.
No, my partner Andrew is was like a massive Warcraft fan, less so, you know, given things happening. So he was like, well, this is this character, right? And they have this backstory. And I was like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I like Duncan Jones though, so.
I'm a big Warcraft fan, not so much a World of Warcraft fan.
Oh.
Like, I never played the MMORPG, but Warcraft 3 was kind of my life for a while.
Oh, I've always wanted to play the because there were like tactics things, weren't they?
Real-time strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I always fancied them. Is there a remaster coming out for one of them?
There already is a remaster, and it sucks.
Oh.
And they did the cool and fun thing, which is where they delisted the original from digital stores and replaced it with a terrible remaster.
Why is the industry...
Thanks, Activision.
Yeah. Why is the industry the way that it is? Oh.
I still have it on disc. I bought the Warcraft 3 Battle Chest all the way back in ye olden times.
Wow.
In the Stone Age. So I can still just play it off disc. It still works.
Wow.
It's great. I love it. I love Warcraft 3. So yeah, I went to see it with a friend who explicitly was like, hey, we like watching video game movies together. Also, I know nothing about Warcraft. So please explain everything after the movie. So I did.
Yeah. You'd get on with Andrew then. He literally he only goes back to classic because he prefers like how it, you know, I have been told that it like when you level up it actually feels like, you know, your work it's harder and that it's, you know, feels like you're really in there and it's not just like, oh, I leveled up, yay. And he can literally tell me detailed backstories on every single character and every single like area, and I'm just like, I wish I had that brain power for anything. Maybe I could do it with like the Titanic or something. I don't know, or classic Simpsons,
or Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but even then, I don't like. Some people are just like amazing at remembering plot beats in every single game, and I'm like, I can't. How? I wish I could, because it's like, am I a true fan if I can't name every single character and every single thing? I don't know.
Yes. Yes is the answer to that question. Like, we joke about it, but like that kind of knowing everything about pop culture, like that does not denote your fandom by having that any more than not having it.
No.
Like, I have replaced most of my formative memories with song lyrics and magic cards, and I didn't do that on purpose, but it just sort of happened, you know? Like, but that doesn't make me like a bigger Magic the Gathering fan than people who just play the game because they think it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I, there's so much logic in your words, but at the same time, I do get annoyed and feel really rubbish if I can't remember like every single side character in Cowboy Bebop or something. But at the same time, like if I'm in the zone and it's my current, I have like hyperfixation phases, and if that's
Yep.
one of them, I totally can. I just need to be in that like the headspace. But I think my partner is just really permanently in that headspace with like Dragon Ball and World of Warcraft or in Star Wars as well. So if I ever have a question, I'm like, I'm not going to go to Wikipedia. I'm just going to go to him. And it made the movie make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
But I still was
You just like
ooh.
you just make a random number generator full of names of Warcraft characters, and you just like generate one every day, and you're like, "Hello, please tell me about Gromsh Hellscream today."
Yeah, pretty much.
Then you get to listen. Then you like put on a cup of tea and just listen for like 20 minutes
Do you know what?
as he explains.
I did actually
Gromsh
play.
Hellscream to you.
I played it when what was I know this is a total side story to a side story to a side story. What was the expansion that was like green? All the marketing was green.
I never played WoW.
Legion?
So
Legion? Maybe
I
something?
believe you.
Right. When that came out, I did try it, and you know what? It was actually fun. And there's like battle pets, and it's essentially like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I really like that. But then it's like, I hate fetch quests, man. I hate them so much. And like, it's why I've never gotten into MMOs properly, even though I really should go back to Final Fantasy 14 because apparently the story is really good. But I'm like, it's still got hundreds of fetch quests. Like,
Yeah.
where's the joy in that? Go here, go over here, go over there. And I'm like,
Go over here and bring me 12 Marlboro eyes.
Yes.
Try to think of a Final Fantasy monster, which I have been inundated with a lot more since the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set came out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I need 17,000 Cactuar spines. But don't worry, each Cactuar drops like, I don't know, 200 of them.
Yeah.
Because they're cactuses.
Yeah.
Cacti.
And they're super annoying. Anyway.
What were we talking about?
Metroid
Prime 4, right. It is kind of curious that we're halfway into the year. Hey, did you know we're halfway into the year by now?
Oh, God. Yeah.
And we still don't have like a more specific release date for Metroid Prime 4 beyond 2025.
Yeah. That is very weird. It's going to be their winter game, probably, isn't it? No, Pokemon.
Because they got Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends ZA.
Huh. How peculiar.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
Unless it's going to be delayed.
Wouldn't be the first time. Heyo.
No.
But like, I will say Nintendo and honestly the industry in general has been favoring more or less lead time between like announcement and release date
Yes.
recently. Because like, hey, put a tally on your bingo card. Hilko's about to mention Monster Hunter. When they announced the release date for Monster Hunter Wilds, they said, the release date is the 28th of February, 2025. And they said that in like, what was it, like November of 2024?
Yeah.
Like maybe
cool.
October at the latest
Yeah.
or earliest, I suppose. So I'm sort of getting the vibe that like they're going to announce the release date and the release date's going to be like 5 weeks from the announcement.
Yeah. That's probably going to be the case.
Because like they've got Donkey Kong Bonanza as like the big release for this month.
Yeah.
And that'll keep people like occupied for a while, I imagine. And then maybe, I'm pure speculation here, I'm thinking maybe like September for Metroid Prime. Because Pokemon is like
October.
It was like
No.
November, I think.
Yeah.
We mentioned it last episode.
I
and I
know.
already forgot what it was.
I even pre-ordered it now, and I can't remember. uh,
But yeah, put me down for September.
okay. Yeah. Did they remaster 2 and 3? I can't remember.
Nope.
No.
No, they were going. If my Wikipedia searching was any indication, they were going to, but then the remaster for 1 became such a big project that they were like that they basically used all the money on that one, if memory serves.
That's a shame.
Well, it was more in the sense that like it wasn't like due to mismanagement. It was just like, hey, we just want to do this right because it's Metroid Prime.
They could just pop 2 and 3 on the GameCube library now, I guess.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Huh. And I mean, hey, we do have a Nintendo Direct. No, we don't. We have a Pokemon Presents.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up, but we don't have a confirmed date for another Nintendo Direct, to the best of my knowledge.
No.
But I mean, like, Nintendo Directs rarely get announced more than like 48 hours in advance.
No, thanks for that, Nintendo.
It doesn't make every games journalist's lives annoying at all.
No. I love when I get PR emails like 2 seconds before something big happens, and I'm like, great, cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Alrighty, on to the next one. Ooh, this was also really fun to research. There's a team out there called Harbour Masters, who recently released another unofficial PC porting mod, not mode, Hilka's notes, mod, for an N64 game, specifically this time for Mario Kart 64. They've previously made ports for Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Star Fox 64, or Lilat Wars for us Europeans.
Yep.
This mod allows for ultra-wide and 4K resolutions, higher frame rates, anti-aliasing, and a lot more. Now, I looked into the legal situation on this a little bit, and they can get away with it for 2 reasons. One, it is a mod that you have to apply to a ROM that you have hopefully legally acquired yourself by dumping it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, they didn't actually use any of Nintendo's original code to make the mod, but instead they reverse engineered it, which is
cool.
I imagine, knowing nothing about programming, one of the reasons why these take multiple people and multiple months to come out per mod.
Yeah, that's really cool. The dumping the ROM thing is similar to, I think, if memory serves, it's similar to the Silent Hill 2 fan remaster. Like, you have to have a physical copy of the PC version in order to run it. Annoyingly, that's really rare and expensive to find.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if that's a similar kind of way they've kind of gotten around it without getting in trouble. That's really interesting. I really want to try this because apparently there's like a map creator mode or something.
Yes, there's a map editor as well. Yeah. I forgot to write that down. Good call.
And that looks, because Mario 64, I think I've mentioned this before, it's not objectively like the best. Well, I think the best Mario Kart is the DS one. But this 64 is the one that I probably played the most. Well, actually, Double Dash is probably the best one. Anyway, 64 is the one that I have the most memories with. And I played it to death. So, like, this sounds like really, really fun to like check out. I just have no idea how to dump my physical copy of it. I know there's like the Game Boy Operator, which is like that cool PC add-on where you can play your actual your physical Game Boy games and like dump your saves onto your PC. But I don't know if there's like an N64 equivalent out and about. There probably
you do
is.
need a very specific and specialized piece of hardware to do it. That's all I know. I know dumping ROMs for DS games and 3DS games is easier, I think. Because it's just a more accessible like piece of hardware.
Yeah, I might look into seeing if I can set it up because I am intrigued.
Yeah, it seems sick.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this on the last episode, but playing Mario Kart in like 4K resolution and at 60 FPS is rad. It rules. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
fun. I'm very curious to see how Mario Kart 64 would translate to that.
Oh,
Because
hope it fixes that bug where if you're playing 2-player co-op, only the first player engine noise plays. I don't know if you ever realized that.
I did not.
I'm pretty
But
sure.
I don't think I've ever played it specifically 2-player. Most of my experience with 64 has been single player or like 4-player.
Well, I think it happens in 4-player. It's one of the multiplayer modes. To be fair, the engine noise is annoying anyway, but I always just
So
thought
it's
that,
not so bad, really. I was thinking, like, why do we need all 4 engines at the same time? Like,
that's probably what they were thinking too.
I have like a very strong memory associated with Mario Kart 64, which is cool that I can play it on my normal Switch now. Although, I mean, or Switch 2, I should say. Though I'm probably just going to play World instead. Not going to lie, but like back in middle school, like every month or every 2 months, there was like they had like an evening where the students would have like a little party,
Oh,
and you could it was the one time a month where the students were allowed to be in the teacher's lounge because they'd set up like N64s with some big old CRT TVs. And and for context, this was like the GameCube was already out.
yeah.
So I was one of the few people who had an N64. And so one of the cables of one of the N64s just didn't work, like the video output cable. So like every time everyone was like, I would go to all of these because it was a blast. They had like, yeah, you play Mario Kart. Yeah. And everyone was always really happy when I showed up because I had the video cable that meant the other N64 would work properly. Yeah, it was Mario Kart and GoldenEye every time, baby.
Ah, hell yeah.
All right, we've alluded to it a number of times in the podcast now, but time for our main event, as it were, which is the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct.
Yay.
I want to say right off the top of the bat, oh my god, this game looks awesome.
Right. I am so annoyed it wasn't a launch title.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, I imagine they wanted to just give people more time with Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
But I want to play it.
Yeah.
And I know it's coming out like in 2 weeks, like a little over 2 weeks. But oh, come on.
We could be playing it now.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I did pre-order it and it'll be my first physical Switch 2 game. And there's not that
Oh, yeah,
many
because you
out
got
there.
the Mario Kart bundle.
Yeah. And I got the amiibo too because reasons. So
I have some thoughts on the amiibos later in the notes. Don't you worry. All right, let's take you through some of the facts that were announced in this direct in case you didn't watch it. Although I do highly recommend watching it because you really got to see this game in action. It's chef's kiss. All right, the premise is Donkey Kong is sent into a Hollow Earth-esque world because there's a like a big vortex opens up over, I think it was the Iron Islands or something, while they're mining for gold bananas. Mm-hmm. And in the Hollow Earth, in the planet's core, I should say, he encounters a little rock thing who turns into a very young Pauline, an aspiring singer. There is mostly free movement. There's a lot of climbing involved in this game. Destructible environments, which is sort of like the thing they were really pushing in the first trailer for this game. Mm-hmm. There are collectibles called Banandium gems. Bit of a mouthful. They'll be just all over the world as rewards for challenges or just like hidden inside rock walls and stuff. It's just Power Moons again. Like
Yep.
they work the same way as Power Moons. But they will also give you skill points, which you can use to like, well, I guess unlock like character abilities, which is new.
Yeah.
Things that are not new are the appearance of Cranky Kong and Rambi,
Yay.
back from all the way back from Donkey Kong Country. You have a thing called Bananza Power, which will transform Donkey Kong to power him up with different abilities based on the animal elders, like a gorilla, a zebra, or an ostrich. And each of them have their own separate abilities. The zebra will let you run really fast. The gorilla powers up your like punch moves. And the ostrich will let you fly/glide.
Yeah. One of them reminded me of like a Super Saiyan Donkey Kong.
Yeah, the gorilla.
Yeah. It was cool.
The bad guys in this game are called the Void Company. They are Grumpy Kong, Poppy Kong, and Void Kong. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who caused the vortex that sucked Donkey Kong into the planet's core to begin with. There are other collectibles called Banandium Chips, Gold, and Fossils, which can all be traded for different things. Not gonna lie, I don't know why we need 4 different types of collectibles in this game, but I mean, I guess like the main point of comparison to this game is Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
That a lot of people made like right away, and that game had 3, right? Power Moons, coins, purple coins.
Yes. Yes.
There is fast travel between layers or within layers. Thank God. I'll always love to see photo mode. They got photo mode.
Yeah.
I love the photo mode in Mario Kart World. We talked about it last episode, so I won't go into it too much. But like, just like the different poses.
It's good. No, it's good.
Like, oh, beautiful. Makes for some great thumbnails for the Streams and Highlights channel as well. A little plug there. There is Mario Galaxy style co-op. And when I say Mario Galaxy style, I mean one person actually plays the game and the other gets to do a little mini thing that doesn't contribute much.
Yeah. I wonder if these modes were made for like dads and mums.
Yeah, just like, hey, do you want to play Mario with me?
Yeah.
My 5-year-old child? Here, point the controller at the screen and little things fly out and you can shoot the enemies.
Yeah, it's like the modern day equivalent of like, here, you be Tails.
Yeah. The game supports Game Share, and this was wild to hear, even to a Switch 1.
Yeah, weird.
Which I previously thought was not a thing that was going to be possible, but I guess it's like on a game-by-game basis.
Yeah, it's just to control Pauline, though. It's not to play the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't run it. Yeah. Double checking.
But it did like display the game on the screen, so I imagine it'll be sort of like more like a screen share than like a running on the actual system thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's probably why the multiplayer is like that. Because if the player 2 is controlling Pauline, who does like a very minimal amount of interaction, you don't have to like, again, I'm not a programmer, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this. But you don't actually have to implement that much gameplay interactivity to coincide with the screen sharing of Game Share. And that's something the Switch 1 would be able to handle.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There's also an assist mode that's very similar to Mario Odyssey. There's an entire separate mode called DK Artist.
Oh, yeah.
Which allows you to make sculptures with the mouse controls.
Oh, I forgot about that. It's so cool. I got really excited because I used to spend hours on the start screen on Mario 64 as a kid.
Oh, yeah, just warping his face.
Yeah, and then they made it even slightly cooler on the DS version because you could, like, draw something and then like shake it
Oh yeah.
about. Yeah. But this is really cool because it's starting to make me think like companies are going to release really cool art tools because of the mouse controls. Kind of like maybe like a what was that game called? Media Molecule one, Dreams. You know how like you get to,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Dreams. Yeah.
maybe something might of that ilk, or but like a like Mario Maker kind of thing. So I don't know. It's got my brain going oh, so yeah, I bet you that I'm gonna waste many an hours on this mode, calling it now.
I mean, we've talked about it in the past, so I don't want to get too far into it. But we have speculated, I think, multiple times on this podcast now about like that Mario Maker with mouse controls is just a no-brainer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's coming. That could be on our bingo list.
And hey, teased this earlier. It works with amiibos.
Yay!
Many amiibos, including the new one that's releasing with the game with Donkey Kong and Pauline. As Scott of Game Podular Unfocused pointed out, I believe on one of the Mario Kart streams, they showed a bunch of like Donkey Kong amiibos that would do specific things in the game. Not listed in there is the Donkey Kong Skylanders figure, which also functions as an amiibo.
Oh yeah.
Remember that, gamers?
It's one of the ones that like I've seen in person, and I'm like, I want to own all of them. Do I have to buy this one? Because it's not ugly. It's quite chunky. And
It's very. I found a lot of the Skylanders quite over designed. Like
Yes.
they have very busy designs.
yeah, yeah. And Spyro looked awful. But yeah, just
Yeah.
not really my jam. Yeah, the normal Donkey Kong ones, I have a few of them already. They're very nice. The Mario Party ones are chef's kiss. Mwah, lovely. And yeah, I'm excited for the new one to come in the post.
And yeah, all of the DK amiibos will get you like explosive Kong letters, which you can then pick up in the game and throw around. And other amiibos, seemingly basically every amiibo that exists that isn't Donkey Kong related, based on how they portrayed it in the trailer, will just get you big spheres of various colors.
Yeah, you can use your Super Mario Universal power bands too, which is kind of cool. Because
What Super Mario Universal Power Bands? What's that?
so like, okay, I have not been, but I have watched so many videos and lived vicariously through them. So in Super Universal Super Mario World in Japan and America, there's lots of
Right,
interactive stuff. Like you can punch blocks and you can like games. In order to like, you can do things without it, but in order to like interact with stuff, you have like an NFC band that goes around your wrist.
Right.
It's kind of like the Magic Bands, and like Disney have had some of them before, like, but they were fast pass ones. And basically, it connects to like an app, and you collect gold coins, and it keeps track of like your activities because there's like mini games and stuff that they unlock and things like that. And there's Donkey Kong branded ones. There's like limited edition ones and all sorts. Every character has one, and it's the same NFC tech, and you can use them too in Bananza.
No, fun.
Yeah, which is kind of funky. You can, if anyone wants one, because I am probably going to get one, even though I may never get to Universal until that UK one finally is a thing. People sell them secondhand on eBay, and I was just going to have one just to be like, a display piece. So I could actually check it out, I guess. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
I didn't know that those also worked with this game. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as an addendum, that was the bulk of the direct. There's details that we sort of skipped, like specific abilities. Ooh, you have a punch combo, and stuff like that. But as an addendum, because Nintendo, of course, personally listens to this podcast and knows our schedule intimately, they were gracious enough to confirm on the very day that we were scheduled to record this episode that Bananza is indeed being made by the Mario Odyssey team, Nintendo EPD. They are still weirdly being coy about, like, the director of the game, and I've complained about this multiple times on the show now. I don't know why they feel the need to be so secretive about this,
No.
but at this point, I don't think it's going to change.
Isn't it funny? Because, like, I think I've said this before. I repeat myself a lot here. That, like,
Same.
when you think back to, like, the most famous Nintendo games, most of them were not, they were made by, like, English studios. They weren't made in-house at Nintendo. So, like, Donkey Kong Country was made by Rare, who are based in Twigos in England. Star Fox, again, England, that's Argonauts. And it's like, and I just find that funny. And back then, they were fine to be like, hey, this studio is, it's Rare. And now they're like, no, it's Nintendo, inverted commas.
Yeah. I did think of one thing that just popped into my head. That is an important thing to talk about, is that the social media exists. And if, like, there are some game developers who are very public figures, sometimes by choice, sometimes not. And maybe they're worried that, like, very excited fans, let's call them, will get a little too excited about approaching the people working on a game they're really excited for aggressively.
Yeah. Or it could be a thing where, like, if it's them that are the face rather than, like, a studio or a set of developers, then there's more control over how they act online too. Because Nintendo have that, that family-friendly kind of thing still going on. So if they don't want to have, like, a Hideo Kojima, I mean, they kind of do with Sakurai a little bit. But, they don't want to have that kind of figure in case they do something that's not very Nintendo-friendly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we did, like, an alternate explanation is something we touched on earlier in the episode is Nintendo just seemingly doesn't like crediting people for their work.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. Sad. It's annoying too, because, like, I'm not a developer. I mean, I would like to be, but I need to, put work into that. But, like, I have people I know that have worked at really, really famous game studios behind, like, some of the biggest games ever. And part of their contract is, like, you cannot say what you worked on. You can just say that you worked on a game. So, like, if you're going to, like, an interview and someone's like, oh, so what did you do for this game? You're like, so I worked on it. And I'm like,
that is all I am legally allowed to tell you.
Yeah, and it's not just gaming that's, like, a thing. There's lots of industries where that's a thing, but it's like, it's so... I get parts of it, but at the same time, I'm like, if it's already out, like, it's just so silly. Animation does that too. Because I remember, like, some studios don't let people share, behind the scene, like, storyboards and things because they want to monetize it later for art books and things, which I get. But at the same time, I'm like, let people advertise what they can do. It's their work. It's their hard work.
At least let them use it for their portfolio.
Yeah. And because I know sometimes they aren't straight up allowed to. And that, it's just silly. It's just very silly. Yeah, don't like that.
Like, I've signed, my share of NDAs in my time as a freelancer, but like, that's whack. like you said, if the game's already out and you can just play it and see the credits and see who did what, why can you not say that in a job interview?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's not every. I think not every studio is the same, but I know a lot of the bigger ones are like that, which is a bummer. It's probably, I don't know, maybe it's deliberate so they don't go looking for other jobs.
Well, it also makes it harder when, the
There
game
isn't.
industry is famous for like firing a lot of people in the last 2 years, and it's going to make it harder for them to find work after that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's another reason why we should be you know, being like, this person composed this and this person did this, because it's a nice positive, you know, thing to do rather than all the horrible stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
We should be louder and prouder of like, hey, this person did this and they're cool.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, I also get annoyed when there's like, I can name Hideo Kojima. Can I name one other developer on Death Stranding 1 and 2? No.
No.
That's not cool.
No.
Not proud of that. So there's the other side of the coin there. But yeah, no, it's a bit rubbish. I am
Yeah.
on a positive note, very, very happy that even though we guessed that it was the Super Mario Odyssey team, that it is confirmed, because I think we both agree that it's literally one of, if not like the best platformer ever made.
I believe I call it my favorite Switch game.
Yeah.
My favorite Switch 1 game at the very least.
I've never there's very few games where like modern games, games in general I've played where I've gone like every inch of this is just sublime, and that is like probably up there, if not the main game that I'm just like, whoa. So I'm extra excited now.
Yeah, and like I did want to come back to one thing briefly because I think it is important to say out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about crediting people properly, that includes outsourced work, of course.
Yes.
I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, but like, hey, I really liked Expedition 33. Gotta say, haven't finished it yet, but I really liked what I played so far. Talk about the outsourcing studios. Their team is like, sure, their main team is that small, but way more people worked on that game than them.
Yeah, I do. I also have not finished, but I've also liked what I played. And some of this stuff, like, I don't know, there's no one to blame for it, but they're like, oh my God, they found the composer, like, on a website. It's like, they found the composer on a website that's famous and used for composers to put up their work so they can get work.
Yeah.
They
found them on SoundCloud, which a lot of people use as their
it's literally
like audio portfolio. Like
it's like that's like saying, oh my God, this person is on the internet. It's like it's so very obvious. I mean, it's cool.
They found this artist on DeviantArt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
who would have been able to find an artist on DeviantArt?
Yeah. It's just very bizarre. And they're like, oh, but he's so good. And I'm like, yeah, there's like...
Yeah.
You don't need to be John Williams to still be talented at creating scores for things. There's quite a lot of people that can do that. It's just very bizarre. Yeah, and something like, it's only made by 32 people and a dog. And I'm like, yeah, but they had funding.
Is it though?
And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. There should be... I feel like we hide... we like that... Look, this was made by one person, and it's like Deltarune, right? Like originally Undertale was just Toby Fox, it was one guy, but he has a whole team now, and I feel like they don't get. Maybe Temmie does, but I feel like the rest of them don't get enough credit. And amongst like the fandom, not Toby Fox definitely talks about them, but I feel like people don't talk about them as much, and that's kind of sad. I'm probably bad for that too, so shame on me. But. Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, going back to the point of like, we sort of like sussed out, a lot of people sort of sussed out that like it definitely had Mario Odyssey vibes even from the first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I posted the news story in the Discord earlier today, I was like, this is not exactly very surprising news, but it is nice to actually have it confirmed.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I mean, we both love Mario Odyssey. Like I said, it was, I think, my actual favorite Switch 1 game. I'm gonna buy this day one. I should probably actually pre-order it from my friendly local game store and get a physical copy.
That's much more wholesome than where I pre-ordered mine. But yeah,
yeah.
Although, annoyingly, I pre-ordered mine from a separate website, and then Nintendo UK are like, here's an Amiibo and game bundle. Although it's more expensive together.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, a bit late. Oh well. uh,
But yeah, so as a reminder, Donkey Kong Bonanza, July 17th.
yeah.
That's very soon, and we're both very excited, and we'll most likely be talking about it on the show
Yep.
when we've played it.
Yeah.
And speaking of games that we have been playing, hey, you mentioned it earlier.
I did.
I believe you've been playing some Deltarune.
I have.
Episodes 3 and 4 of which came out on the launch day of the Switch 2. How's that been going for you?
Did I replayed it from the start because I forgot things that happened. And I thought it was just nice to do that in general. It's very good.
Shock surprise.
I know, right? There's just something about, like, I like Undertale. I was a bit late to Undertale. Like, have I asked you before if you played Undertale?
I don't believe I've talked about it on this show. No, Scott and I talked about it a little bit on stream.
Okay.
My exposure to Undertale is I have played it, but I haven't finished it. I liked what I played. I got stuck at the Metaton boss fight.
Oh.
Because I am very not good at, like, the bullet dodging mechanics that you have to be very good at to finish Undertale.
Yes. No, I suck at them too. It's fine.
So I did like what I played, but I haven't finished it, and I have not touched Deltarune at all.
Okay, yeah. Deltarune's weird. Where, like, you don't have to have played Undertale to play it, but at the same time, there's like they are kind of connected, but they're not, and you appreciate it more if you have, because obviously
they're thematically connected, not so much narratively. Well, I mean,
well, they might be. We don't know. It's
yeah, true. Like, it's not finished yet. There's going to be like 2 or 3 more chapters, they've said, after this.
Yeah, there's 8 in total, and so 5 is coming out next year. We don't have a day, just the year.
So 4 more chapters.
Yes. 3 and 4 are. I'm deliberately not going to not to spoil it for you, because that would be mean to take away, like, literally one of my favorite gaming experiences ever. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone listening, because Deltarune and, like, Undertale are very narrative. Like, their narrative is the main thing about the game. Like, and there's a lot. There's just. It's very hard to talk about without spoiling. There's just the story. It's not so much as what happens in the story, but the way it's told is so unique and so well written that that I don't want to take away that fresh experience from anybody, because that's just not fair at all. Unlike all the people that spoiled Expedition 33 for me the week it came out. Thanks for that. Multiple people I followed on Blue Sky just posted clips from that game, like important scenes in full with no hashtags, like week 1 and week 2 of release. Why?
Yeah, tag your spoilers. Blue Sky has a very good filtering system.
Yeah.
Let people use it.
So if you found out I've blocked you on Blue Sky, it's probably because you spoiled a game for me. I was worried about Deltarune for that, but luckily that's kind of why I was like, right, I need to play these chapters like now. And they are absolutely fantastic. I haven't decided which out of the 4 is my favorite so far. It might be 3, maybe, but they're so funny. There's like I'm trying to think of what would be a spoiler and what not would be a spoiler. There's kind of like lots of mini games in the 3rd one, because there's like a kind of you're in like a, so the world in the 1st one was like a kind of House of Cards kind of tabletop game, kind of dark world. The second one was like a online pop-up advertisement hell kind of dark world. The third one's like an old school like game show. And there's a TV
Nice.
called Mr. Tenna. And it's one of those things, one of the characters that has actual voice clips. And he goes, "It's
Oh.
TV time." And it's so like, oh, he's just wonderful. And it's really funny. And there's something about Deltarune, man. It's just such a good time. But then it's so funny. And then there's always just a big kind of dark plot underneath that's like, oh my God, what's happening? And there's actually, it was alluded to at the end of chapter 1 that, there's some sinister, creepy stuff going on. And there's more of that in chapter 4. And oh my God, the way it was presented was breathtaking. The music, I mean, you enjoyed the tracks that Toby Fox composed for Scarlet and Violet, didn't you? I think we've talked about them before.
Yeah, I mean, I like Toby Fox's music a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, co-host of Unfocused, Seskra, is also a fan of Toby Fox's compositions for Homestuck. They have never actually read any Homestuck. They just really like Toby Fox's music from Homestuck.
Well, yeah, that's where Megalovania actually was in before Undertale.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel a bit weird because I was on Tumblr when Homestuck was a thing, and I wasn't into it, but I want to forget some of the things that I saw and read. But anyway, but no, the music is beautiful. There's like kind of like churchy kind of vibe, right? So that's very like triumphant, and it gave me goosebumps, and like it was just, it's really annoying that I don't want to talk about the plot because I'm just kind of saying buzzwords. But
yeah,
I was a bit worried that I was either, because the original, like the first chapter came out ages ago. It was like the first two are like a demo. So I was kind of worried that it wouldn't be a good follow-up or I'd get a bit bored. But every time I get back into Deltarune, I'm like, this must have been what it was like when Undertale first came out, and people were like, what is this? This is incredible.
We gave a copy to the Pope. I wonder if he played it before he died.
That's amazing. Do you know what? I could see religious people liking it in a weird way. There's a lot of like existential thoughts and things going on. But like, I put it this way, I was enjoying the new chapters so much that I finally went on Fangamer and bought I bought a Crow Country t-shirt, which I thought you would appreciate.
Hell yeah.
And it's official, and it came with a little sticker with a mushroom guy on it, and the t-shirt says "I survived Crow Country." Amazing. But I bought a plushie of Lancer because Fangamer is the official Deltarune store. It's the only place you can get merch for it. And he was literally on my lap as I finished that last boss, and oh my God. Talking about the bullet hell thing, because that's still a thing. Oh, I think I only had 12 goes of the last boss. Okay. And if you die 10 times, this little character comes up and goes, I found these items for you, and you get extra healing items. That was really appreciated. Like, thank you, whoever came up with that idea. Oh my God. Scary. And now I'm like terrified of what the bosses are going to be in the other chapters. I didn't even do the secret bosses either, because each chapter has this secret boss and they're like absolutely horrendous like to finish. And I finished Undertale. I couldn't fight Sans because that's too hard, but you don't have to do like a pacifist run or whatever it's called.
The canon ending.
Yeah. My partner was like watching me, but I didn't want him to watch really because I wanted him to play it because I think he quite liked Deltarune. But he was just like, anytime I got a bit further, the attack pattern would change and I'd literally be screaming at the TV and he'd be like, wow, that's really unfair. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Did he hit you with the like, are you sure you're still having fun? uh,
No, he said like, oh,
that parents sometimes do.
yeah, no, he did like, oh, let me have a go. And I'm like, no, because you won't understand. Because I'm going for like a pacifist run in Deltarune. So it's another thing of you can't attack anything. You have to be good and you have to do this. But it also makes everything a lot harder,
Yeah.
which is fun. Um, but it felt very. I will say I did play it on the PS5 and not the Switch. I originally played it on the PC, but for some reason, like my save wasn't there, so whatever. But that did mean I could 100% it and get the platinum trophy, and I did. And I'm so glad he didn't put trophies to the secret bosses because I would have cried because they're
I was going
really
to
hard.
ask,
Yeah.
because if how did you 100% it if you didn't beat the secret bosses?
No, the trophies were really easy. There's one where you have to get a really high rank in some of the bits in the game show. That was not that enjoyable because they were quite hard. But what was really cool, this isn't really a spoiler, but when you complete the 4th chapter, they did it so that you can go back and you can always play the mini games that they added to chapter 3.
Nice.
One of them's like a music rhythm game, and it was actually so fun. I'm like, they should just make an Undertale and Deltarune music rhythm game on its own because I would buy that.
Didn't we cover a
They,
rhythm game that was getting like a bunch of indie soundtracks in it?
yeah,
Like there was like a rhythm game with like Celeste
yes,
and Pizza Tower in it?
well, there is an Undertale DLC pack to Taiko no Tatsujin, like the Japanese drum game.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
not the one I'm thinking of, but that is also true. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it? Was it Crypt of the Necro thingy?
Yes, it
Yes.
was the second Necrodancer game.
Right. Yeah. But it'd be cool if he just made one. Because there's so many tracks in both games, and maybe he could add some original stuff in there. But yeah, Deltarune is just. It is a bit annoying that I do personally think to get to be like, oh, and get all the little Easter eggs that kind of are really fun to like discover. You do need to have at least finished a pacifist run to the completion of Undertale, which is not easy.
No.
The last few bosses in that have made me cry before. And like I found it funny that like that Sans boss fight, which I guess is kind of it's kind of infamous on the internet. Someone actually made like a website that purely lets you practice that boss fight.
Oh, nice.
Which is very, very cool. I was secretly hoping someone did that for the chapter 4 boss, and they had not. That's fine. I still managed to do it, but oh my god. Because there's no difficulty settings, by the way. So that's not fun. And by nature, it's similar to Undertale in that all the little flying obstacles are coded to go where you were. So everything is always coming towards you, and you're just this tiny little heart soul, and it's like
Truly the Dark Souls of rhythm action games.
It totally is. But yeah, everyone go play it. Go play it. It's only like over here, it's like 20 quid, and that's about over 10 hours of amazingness. And when the next chapters come out, you get them for free.
Nice.
So you don't need to spend another 20 quid, which I think is very cool and accessible. And I think that's awesome. I mean, you could actually just play the demo. And if you like the demo, you could pay for the next chapter 3 and 4. So do that.
Yeah.
But like...
I actually had a question for you, because you've been talking about the chapters and the different worlds. And if you can talk about this without spoiling too much, I would be curious to hear it. How connected are the individual chapters to each other, like narratively speaking?
Oh yeah, it's like the story continuing, basically.
They just each chapter takes place in a different world, and that's relevant to the story.
Yeah, so each chapter starts off that you're in your little hometown, and then you end up in the dark world, and then there's like a kind of hub area in the dark world, and then you get to like a themed world within the dark world, and each chapter has like a different one that you're in. They're like the
so
plot.
It's like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah,
and each of them have like a little kind of cool theme. It's very cool because is it chapter 2 introduces a thing where you can recruit bad guys by not hurting them, obviously, to your little hub world. And then so eventually when you go, you can talk to all the bad guys, and unlocks like a little different areas, like a little dojo and a little cafe, and there's like these saxophone guys in chapter 3, and they're really cool, and I love them. And it's just like, I liked Undertale a lot. I really like Undertale, but there's Deltarune specifically. There's just something I'm just like, it's magical and whimsical and wonderful, and also a bit depressing. And that's how I like my games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you would really like it, actually. But it is annoying that you're right, and Undertale is really hard. I think Undertale is harder, actually, to be fair.
Okay.
You know what? I'm trying to think of where you are. I think that you could still play Deltarune and appreciate the things that pop up, and you wouldn't have the ending. You wouldn't have the bit you haven't done in Undertale spoiled or anything. If I'm thinking.
I know more or less what happens in Undertale at this point.
Yeah, because it's so...
The game's like, 12 years old by now?
Oh
like, it was like
God.
2013 or something, right?
Is it? Oh my God, it is.
Am I misremembering?
No, it is old. Oh, no. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's quite ingrained in popular, like, online popular
2015.
culture.
Okay, so it's only 10 years old.
Oh, only? Oh, yeah. My friends went to the 10th anniversary Undertale concert in London, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You could totally still enjoy it. I think you would really like it. As long as you avoid the secret bosses, because But then it's that annoying thing where you get like an item from the secret bosses, and it's one of those things where, because it's a Toby Fox and team game, where you're like, this is gonna unlock something at the end, or there's gonna be some sort of narrative thing from doing every little bit of it, and that's gonna be really annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm when the game is finished, I'll probably try and do like a hardcore or super duper run of it, but at least I've done the actual plot so far.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And Susie is still my favorite character, and I love her, and I will, defend her with my life. And so is Lancer.
I'm politely smiling and nodding as if I know what you're talking about.
And Lancer's also my favorite, and Craney is my favorite. There's bits in chapter 2 that I could imagine you laughing to, because there's like a little nerdy guy and he's really funny. But yeah, oh my God, it's wonderful, worth every penny. There's also this is a bit in chapter. This is not a story plot spoiler. There's like quiz show elements to the game show thing in chapter 3. And one of the questions is, how much is this Ralsei plushie? And Ralsei is like one of the main characters. And they literally just show you a JPEG of the Fangamer plushie. And I was like, this is incredible.
I love Fangamer. I have the Fangamer Monster Hunter hoodie because, of course, I do.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, I may or may not have just bought a Deltarune pin set that came out today from Fangamer.
Nice.
But there's a bit later on where like Ralsei falls in a river, and then the corner of the screen shows the JPEG of the plushie like drowning in sea, and Ralsei's like, and I'm like, I love weird little things like that. It's just so funny. And the fact like the plushie wasn't new at that point, it's like a plushie from a few years ago now, so it's like, love it. Everyone go play it and love it.
Yeah.
And also
Don't spoil it online.
No. Also, like, Sylvie, who used to be a host here and who's in the Discord, was like, we were laughing away to ourselves because she was like, "Oh, I saw you listening to that one track from the Deltarune soundtrack on repeat all day," and I was like, "Yes, maybe that was me." Lots of Deltarune fans in the Discord. But yeah, oh my god, loved it. If that wasn't obvious, loved it.
Yeah, glad to hear it, because like Undertale has such a position in popular culture that if Deltarune had ended up being bad somehow, honestly, I can't really conceive of a way it would have been. But if it had ended up being bad or even disappointing, like things would have been set on fire, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Just because Undertale is one of those things that has such a grip on people. Like people's entire personalities are Undertale.
Yes.
And now by extension Deltarune. And it is always, I always am not, hesitant is not the right word, but worried that follow-ups of highly beloved things can really stick the landing. And I will admit to having some apprehension in that regard to Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. Because now that we know that it is the same team behind Mario Odyssey, I mean, they have ridiculously high standards to live up to, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there is always that worry that it's maybe going to even kind of dim your love for the original thing. I think that's maybe why I was fortunate, because it took me, I think I played Undertale 5 years after it came out, because my friend Nikki was like, "Oh, you should check it out, you would like it." And by that point, like, it had already become the big thing and then not been as big a thing. So maybe I've been kind of more relaxed, like I've not been as worried about it. I was worried about the new chapters specifically. But I think they just have a really good, like we were talking about earlier, he outsources a lot of character designs, and they were able to be like, "Hey, I created this character." And it was cool because 2 of them were my new favorite characters. One's based on like they're like weather, like a couple, and they're like a moon guy and like a cloud rainy girl, and they're so cute.
Nice.
And there's a lot of like, he outsources a lot of like character designs, and he has like a cool team now. And I'm like I'm liking this collaborative effort. I also like the fact, Undertale was mostly made by him while he worked in a cinema job, or and originally made like an Earthbound fan game.
Yeah, that's where it started.
That's like, every time I think of his like backstory, it's like that's the dream. He's gone from that to being invited over to Thingy's house to play Smash Brothers, and I'm like, busy pals with all these really famous Nintendo devs, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And doesn't have to worry about money ever again. But no, it's such. I actually prefer it to Undertale overall. But again, I think that's because I wasn't in the initial, oh my god, Undertale when it first came out.
Yeah.
You
were not part of the zeitgeist.
Yes, yeah. It took me a while to get on board, and by that time I wasn't even using Tumblr, so I wasn't really in the. I was a fan, but not like in the fandom.
I'm sorry, you just said I wasn't really using Tumblr anymore, and I don't know what that's like.
Oh, did you?
That is a concept that is foreign to me.
Wait, you still use it, or you never used it?
Oh no, I have been on Tumblr basically every day since 2011 to this day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I was on it during like the where did the President Chile Super Hulock era?
Yeah. The golden age.
And actually, this is Tumblr related. Me and my partner didn't know each other on Tumblr, but we had friends that we talked to all the time on Tumblr who knew both of us. So when we actually got together, they were like, "Oh my god, it's like my worlds are colliding," and I thought that was really weird.
That's a very fun coincidence.
Yeah. And I have met someone that went, "Are you Little Record Girl from Tumblr?" once. And I was like, what? I wasn't Tumblr famous, obviously, but it was a very weird scenario. But no, I left when a long time ago. But it's a shame because I do wish I was part of the Undertale time, you know, on Tumblr then, because I imagine it was quite a thing to behold.
Yeah, it was, even as someone who I played it sooner than you did, but I also didn't play it like on release. I think I
Ah,
played it like maybe a year later, like
okay.
2016. But yeah, it was great. Like I did have to block it at a certain point because it was like, okay, I I've never actually played this game, and at a certain point it's taken up too much space on my Tumblr dashboard.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna block the tag. But it was very cool, just like that's one of the cool things about Tumblr to this day, is it has one of the most interesting and vibrant like fandom community, no, not fandom communities, fandom like approaches,
Yes. Like,
because it's a full-on blogging website. You can do art, you can do stories, you can post videos that you've made there, like fan music.
hmm.
It's great. I love Tumblr. Still to this day, there's some really weird people on Tumblr, but like in a good way.
I some of my pictures used to get like because I posted my Lolita and stuff, my like Japanese fashion, nothing to do with the book, and
Yeah.
they'd be like, "This diaper lover has added this to their favorites," and I'm like, uh, hmm,
There are
hmm.
also a lot of weird people on Tumblr in not a good way.
Yes, yes, yes. I left when certain content was banned because it got a bit boring for me. And also, I just like I'm old. I can only handle like Instagram and Blue Sky, and I can real. I don't go on Instagram that much. But I do miss the like you could tell when something was getting really popular because it was just like constant fan art and constant like fanfics and uh edited pictures and things, and it was just
Yeah.
nice. Uh, like when Doctor Who episodes would come out and stuff as well. It was like yes, yes, bring on
And
the
like
gifts.
20 minutes later, there would be beautiful, like masterfully color collected
Right.
gifs all over Tumblr of the new episode.
I do follow a ton of artists on Blue Sky,
That's
and they did do
still a thing on Tumblr, by the way.
yeah, they did do that with Delta. It was annoying because I didn't want to see like character designs I hadn't seen in the new chapters yet. But the amount of fan art for these new Deltarune characters, and it's like stunning master works. Like, oh, how do people do it? I don't understand.
I
Uh,
think like the most amazed I've ever been in that regard is like a couple years ago when like the first major direct for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet happened,
yes,
and they revealed like the starters and the professors.
yeah.
There were people making like fully realized cosplays of the professors within 24 hours.
Yeah, although I get annoyed on the cosplay side of things because there used to be like a I was the first person to cosplay this, so I'm better than you kind of thing going on. And also it's so expensive. So like
Yeah.
the people that could do it were people that had, could afford to do it. So sometimes that annoyed me. But it's pretty cool what people can create in a short span of time. Or in a long span of time when it comes to developing Deltarune.
Yeah. I mean, we only have half the game right now, right? And
No.
chapter 5 isn't coming out until next year.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like 3 more years probably until Deltarune's actually completed?
Yeah. You know what? I don't mind the wait. I think they're very, like you said, they're very lucky. Not lucky because they put all the work into it. But it's a good thing
Yeah.
that it's so good. Because it's so good, people are willing to wait that long. Because I feel like other indie games might not have that kind of people might not be as gracious to wait this long. Um,
Yeah.
but they have that in their favor, and like The only thing is that chapter 4 set up some things like that are just like, huh? Okay. And now I'm like, oh, so I have to wait to like
You have
find
to
out
wait
what.
until next year to maybe find out what happens next
Yeah.
with those.
Not fun. But I'm gonna do it. Because I love it. Uh, I just I'm actually also really intrigued to see what Fox and his pals are gonna do after this. Cause I'd like to see them do. I know he didn't he help make a Game Freak game that wasn't a Pokemon thing or something, but it didn't do very. It wasn't that popular.
I mean, that's just non-Pokemon Game Freak games for you.
Yeah, I don't know if he wrote. I don't know if he actually did any story work for it, but there was something. But I'd like to see the same team do something that's not related to that kind of anything to do with Undertale, whether it's like Easter eggs or not.
Yeah,
Because
that'd be interesting.
yeah, because just
You don't want to just like be a one-trick pony, kind
no,
of.
exactly, yeah.
And based on everything I've heard of Deltarune, it's definitely not just more Undertale. You
No.
know, there's a lot more to it than that. But that is something that I worry about with some indie studios where they have a hit
Yeah.
and then it's just like, well, we just make Shovel Knight spin-offs for the rest of time, you know?
Ugh, yeah. Also,
Like, no disrespect to Yacht Club Games, but like
yeah.
I got pretty sick of Shovel Knight pretty quickly. Like,
Yeah. Also, I would like to see something that isn't got bullet hell elements because
me too, because I'd like to be able to play the games.
yeah, it's
That would
not
be nice.
it's it's not the worst thing in the world, and it is actually like when it first was a thing for Undertale, it was very clever, especially there's scenarios and boss fights and things that change how you think the rules are, and it's very clever.
It's a very good, like, mechanical way to represent non-violence, but
Yes,
still
not
have interaction.
yes. It's
Because
just
it's explicitly about avoiding things.
yeah, it's just not very accessible friendly. More so in
Yeah,
Undertale
there's
because
a very high skills. It can get a very high skill ceiling that a
yeah,
lot of people, like myself, cannot always just get to.
yeah, and in Undertale I feel it's worse because the game is mostly like black and white in a lot of areas, and for me, I've got light sensitivity and vision issues, and that always was not fun and made me feel a bit sick. Less on Deltarune. Deltarune is much more colorful and there's more. It's still like minimal, like retro. It's meant to look like old RPGs, but there's more detail to it, and I feel like that helps a little bit. But there's no easy mode, and I don't play bullet hell games in my spare time, so
Nope.
I don't really want to. Well, actually, apart from there's a Macross one that I might buy just because it's Macross. But anyway, so yeah, it'd be interesting what they did if they did something that was made more like an RPG traditionally. But then Toby Fox games aren't and traditional don't really go together, so I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be interesting to see. But in the meantime, I am very happy waiting for more Deltarune, and I'm gonna bug you to play it now because I think you'll like it. But yeah,
Speaking of bullet hell games, have you? There's a video clip that makes the rounds sometimes. I originally saw it on Tumblr, of course, of Toby Fox giving like a talk or a speech at like an indie games conference, and he brings up Toho Project, which is something he was heavily inspired by because he loves it, and he's just like speaking in perfect, to my ears at least, Japanese. I'm not going to recreate it because I don't know what he said. And then he brings up like Toho Project, and then just the word project is full on like he says project in American like English. It's so funny. I died laughing.
he is such a clever guy. Like, my like if money wasn't an issue and I could like study anything I wanted to be like him and make like a Scottish RPG that was kind of Undertale-y and like have his kind of he can just do everything.
Yeah.
Like and like he earned it by working very hard at what he does. But oh my god, I can't imagine
Yeah.
having all that talent and hard work ethic in my body. I'm so envious. And envious by all the talents in the whole team as well. Because again, character designs on Deltarune are amazing. But yeah, what a lad! What a lad!
While we wait for the next chapter of Deltarune to come out, we should probably play some other games in the meantime. Between now and the next episode, what do you think you're going to be playing?
Well, I know. So because a certain shopping thing is happening, that I'm going to be very busy at work. I'm not going to get to play much soon. So I know the next
Yep.
game I'm actually going to play is Donkey Kong Bonanza. But I might try and do a Donkey Kong Country playthrough
Ooh.
before to like get into the Donkey Kong mindset, into the zone. I don't know if I'll finish it because some of the bosses in that are really annoying. But I've finished it many times before, so I think that's what I'm going to play via Nintendo Switch Online as well.
Nice. Whereas I'm still working my way through Okami HD.
Oh yeah.
I put it down for a bit to play other stuff, notably Mario Kart World, but I picked it up again recently. Boy, that game's a lot longer than I thought it would be. I was thinking like, it's like Zelda-ish.
Yeah.
PS2, so I was thinking like maybe 20 hours. I'm at like 27 so far, and I think I'm maybe halfway.
Oh no.
It's great. It's really good. But like, you spend like what you think is most of the game going towards one specific goal, and then you achieve that goal, and then the game just doesn't end. It keeps going.
Yep.
In a good way. Like it's not in a like spinning its wheels kind of way. There's just more game, and it's still really good. But wow. Yeah, I'm also going to be playing Donkey Kong Bonanza when it comes out.
Yay.
But yeah, before that, I'm going to be playing Okami HD. I'm going to try my best to get it finished before the next episode, but scheduling is going to be a little screwy in the next couple of weeks due to that aforementioned certain website shopping time.
And then I'm away
So
in a castle for a week. Well, no, not a week, but for us.
So we'll keep you updated on social media on like what the next couple episodes are going to look like.
Yeah.
I do have a little something fun and special in the works for the week that you're on vacation. More on that when like I have all of the details.
Ooh.
I'm like 80% of the way there. But yeah, keep an eye on the Discord server or the Blue Sky, and we'll keep you in the loop on what's going on. I just like we're near the end of the episode, and I just realized that we never addressed why we're a week late. It's just very simple. Just something came up. Like something came up at the last minute, and we couldn't record last week, even though we were planning to. Apologies. Again, the next couple of weeks are also going to be a little weird. That's just life, baby.
Yeah, kind of my fault. But but sometimes life, things happen. And also I really, really want to go on holiday, even if it's a couple of hours away from where I live.
Yeah. But that's going to call it for this episode of N Focus. I hope you all enjoyed listening. I know we had a great time recording it. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment about what your favorite thing about the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct was and what you're looking forward to most when you pick it up on the 17th.
Yay.
And if you're listening to the podcast feed, hell yeah. Love that. I love a podcast feed. I know I say that like it was technically my idea to go to YouTube as well, but I love a podcast feed. I love not being reliant on the YouTube video player to listen to my podcasts. It's great. We're just giving you an option.
Yeah.
And maybe new people find it on YouTube. That would also be cool and good, I think. I'm rambling. Apologies. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of In Focus. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps us get noticed. You can also tell your friends if you think they'd be interested. Word of mouth really helps too. You can also listen and subscribe on Spotify and other podcast services and YouTube. And if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out our sister show, Game Podular Unfocused. Follow us on Blue Sky and at gamepodular.com for updates, news, and other content. Links to all of our socials, including our Discord, Mastodon, and Blue Sky, may be found at our Linktree. If you'd like to support our shows, you can buy us a coffee or become a Game Podular patron. The details for both are on our website. Thank you! This episode was edited by Hilka, and you can follow him at Gear12Turbo at kind.social on Mastodon or at gear12turbo.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. He was joined today by me, Rosalie, who you can find at littlerecordgirl.bluesky.social on Blue Sky too. Have a good one.